I think this is, if you hang on to this quote, you kind of capture everything about Ignatius' autobiography. Seriously, from Nadal, which is Ignatius, one of the best friends. Okay, so I'm going to do a little Spanish for it. It's very short. Okay, Ignacio seguía el espíritu, no se le alentaba, y de ese modo era conducido con suavidad a donde no sabía. Él no pensaba por entonces en fundar la orden, y sin embargo, poco a poco se le abría el camino y lo iba recorriendo, sabiamente ignorante, puesto sencillamente su corazón en Cristo. So think about this in English. I mean, it's phrase by phrase that capture this, okay? Ignatius did not run ahead, but follow the Spirit. Did not run ahead, but follow the Spirit. And from this manner, okay, this way of proceeding, he was gently led where he did not know. He was led, passive form. And the key is gentle, gently. He did not think about founding the Society of Jesus then. However, little by little, think about that, right? Little by little, the road was open to him, and he ran after it. Okay, little, the road opened to him. See that? Don't make him saint. He doesn't know these things, okay? Just like each one of us, slowly, God opened the road for us. And I love these two phrases, wisely ignorant. Okay? Both wise and both ignorant. We are wise, but we don't know everything, right? So both wisely ignorant. And the last one, simply placing his heart in Christ. Isn't that a beautiful phrase? I mean, this captures everything about Ignatius that you need to know, or we need to know. So the end, the article I shared with you that I wrote about prayer in the Ignatian tradition, it's basically the whole sense of really, Ignatius is very romantic. If you like doing this thing, and you just go, oh my God, it's treachery and it's so hard, then quit. There must be some kind of romantic, just like falling in love, right? I think we all have fallen in love. Our heart has been broken. Our heart has been open. And in the end, conversion, right? Think about, in the end, conversion is not here. But conversion is the sense of making our heart softer and softer and falling in love and find our passion. That's what it's about. Okay, so we're going to go a little bit more detail, maybe just overall, and just see this slide. I think I just love you guys see it, and you see, oh, I can map myself in there. So the story of Ignatius right here is not about memorize these things, but ask these questions over this year. Where is my Pamplona? My. And perhaps it's not in Spain. For me, my Pamplona is the far Saigon. My Pamplona is coming to the USA in Denver in the winter of November 1993. Where's my Jerusalem? Where's my Manresa? Where's my Montserrat? These are the things that we ask and interiorize it for us. No longer Ignatius. He is dead. We're not looking for Ignatius anymore. We're looking for Christ that working in us, in these locations, if our life. So it could be St. Louis, could be, Cape Coral, could be Webster Grove, right here. Would you, next slide, please? So just look about the name, the title of how he went through. First, he was a caballero, a knight, right? That's how he trained. One mind, very straight, fire, loyalty, you know, woman, all those values, right, as one version. And slowly, slowly, that begin moving to 2 and 4. But he moved like that because there's some force of attraction. We don't fall in love for the, you know, for our own, right? There's something that attracted us. So that's this God who kind of continue consistently like pursuing Ignatius, even at the time he doesn't even know. Like God pursuing us. So think about next thing, he become a soldier. Let's look at back ourselves. Like think about all the title that we carry ourselves. And then the next one, he become a patient. You know, step by step. And after the patient, he become like a hermit. And importantly though, underneath of this, the image of God underneath, that function underneath of this, I think it's important. Let's talk a little bit Caballero. He's tincture. He come from a Catholic tradition. His family, he was baptized. But did he really practice? Probably not. He wasn't educated in that. But he was immersed in the tradition without knowing it. The next one, soldier. You know soldier, they don't talk about God. His God is also there, but he was pursuing something else. And then patient. I love the word patient too, because I think is what? This is make into the rule of discernment. Time and healing. The two aspects of the word patient, isn't it? Because we think about patient is in the hospital. Healing and time. And then begin to listen. God begin to work on his, you know, interior life. He began to listen. There's a book by the Spanish author. It's a beautiful, is what? God immersed. The immersion of God in Ignatius' life. He become to aware. That's what is our spirituality about, right? Always there, but then we begin to learn this language a little bit. And then he went through the sense of hermit. Very hard on himself. Doesn't cut his nail. Let his hair grow. Confession a lot. What is that? What do you think about that image of God? God's very harsh. God is unforgiving. I have to earn God's love by do a lot of things, right? We all went through that, one way or the other. You know, we still want to prove. We want to like, just like what? This whole fear. Ignatius went through that until the Franciscan spiritualist said, like, stop. You know, perhaps we could have the grace to have some of those spiritual actors to say, quit it. God is forgiving. Don't come to me confession anymore. You know? And then he become a pilgrim. Engaging the road. I think that's important. Think about how many times your own road, your own pilgrimage. It's not forward, but think of backward, right? Think about what is the road you have been to. I look it down, seriously. It's moved me to come behind your eyes and your ears, the road you have traveled. I would just ask the director of this, she from Taiwan, some of you come from this area, and then what is the road we have traveled? A pilgrim, right? And then all the way to pilgrim, and think about pilgrim is trusting this God. It's like very consistent with the whole biblical tradition. This God and trusting, and God is a God who cares. God is taking care of me on the road and trusting myself. God is faithful. God will come and will respond. And God will bring me to life. That's the whole sense of the biblical tradition. And then, over here, God does have desire. See, sometimes a lot of times we think about the will of God so fast. You know, like for Vietnamese thing, like the will of God is just something God already figured out in his hand, or God's hand like this, and say, hey, sucker, can you like guessing what I have in my hand? And then if you got it right, okay, guessing. Wow, you know, that's will of God. No, that's not. I don't believe in that God. The God who kind of say, I have this beautiful dream. I have this plan. Would you come, would you come with me for this plan? I think if I have a right, I have, my power, I would love to change the word, the will of God, into the dream of God. God has a dream. Think about with Abraham. Think about with Moses. I have a bigger dream. Ignatius only dreamed this much. I'm going to go to Jerusalem, convert people, and save soul, right, in Jerusalem. And God said, that's pretty cool, but I have a bigger dream for you. Even at the time, he doesn't even know. So God has that active dreams, and we are not puppets. God said, come, okay? So that's also the image of God. And then think about this, okay? Think about this, and then to go to this one, to Ignatius here. He went to educate here, and here's a group of friends. And this is a work of Father Bart Giger. If you ever read this, one of the first companions on Jesuit studies. The friends of his doing at Alcalá, Salamanca, he called Ignatius. That means what? Friends of Inigo. Like friends or followers of Inigo. You see the problem with that yet? Yeah, anyone? Friends of Inigo. So who is the center? Ignatius' version. Remember? We listened to the version, the story of Ignatius. And guess what? When they got to Paris, what happened? Fervent friends they disappeared. Nobody came to Paris with him. And he learned. And then the next group he has, what is the name of it? Amigos en el Señor. What does that mean? Friends in the Lord. What has happened? What version is that? The Lord. Okay, so he still become the center. This one de-center himself and put in the Lord. And that group is the seed for what is called the Society of Jesus. And then, so think God is having a dream and slowly continue to teach him to de-center, and God is the one who gather. The Lord is the one who gather. That's what begin the communal discernment. Okay? A little bit about communal discernment is this. This is the conviction. That's what through this experience, what? God work in our individual, and the same God is working in the group. And this is not democracy. This is not about get consensus. This is like, the faithfulness of kind of looking for this same God is working. And sometimes we disagree. That's a good thing. God is working. So don't look for consensus. Don't look for like agreement. We look for God. That's what all this conversion is about. And now even deeper with Amigos en el Señor, he went on the way to La Storta. And this God even revealed and consistent again. And this is the article Father Arupe wrote. It's called The Trinitarian Inspiration of Ignatian Charism. If you have time, read that article. I think that is a very foundational article. It's also a Jesuit study, and which is online. It's free. Consistent at Cardonniere, remember his eyes were open, and he was distracted, but his eyes were open. He began to see the world in a new light. And throughout all of this, right, he began to interiorize, all the way culminate in the experience of La Storta. What happened La Storta? Okay, just spend a little bit about that because I think it's very important. So basically, you know, he and his friends, and including Ignatius, is a die-hard fan of Jerusalem. That's what they vowed. They always want to go to Jerusalem and save souls. Even got kicked out, he want to go back. So think about Barcelona, Venice. The first time over here, he by himself, gung-ho, determined, I'm going to do this on my own. The second time, you know, his behind got kicked. I mean, the Lord got kicked and he got left out of Jerusalem, don't know what to do. He was lost, disoriented, and no longer him, but like God has a dream for him. Think about the third time at Venice, what happened. Ignatius no longer a single person, no longer solitaire. He has friends. That's important. He has friends. Second, he began to think, like all of us, this is very natural, you know. When this thing doesn't happen, what happened? What happened to COVID? What is the grace of COVID to us? I would say this is for, I mean, again, my ignorance, and please, if I offend you, please, you know, forgive me. But what is the, I mean, I work with a Jesuit to plan for different things. You know the hardest thing for COVID is? Plan B, plan C. Oh my God, I work with people just like, oh my God, plan B, plan C. Oh my God, you know, we can't handle that. You know, can we develop plan B for our nation? Oh my God, this is like this. You know, for us Asian, you know, went through war and things like that, we have plan Z. You know, if this thing did happen, okay, cool, we have plan B. If you ask any Asian, they already have 10 plans in their head. That's our problem. We have a lot of plans in our head, you know what I mean? But we're very comfortable with that. You know? So Ignatius here, the sense of maturity is what? If I cannot go to Jerusalem, we'll go to Rome. But then what happened when you get plan B? If you cannot go to the school of your choice, you go to second, what normally happens? Be honest now. If I don't get, I would love to go to Harvard, but Harvard didn't accept me. I go to, you know, Regis, okay? What usually happen? Disappointment. What else? You know, go deeper. Doubt. Suspicion. Just like, is this really will of God? Is this really God's dream for me? Right? And then what do we usually do? And this is what we learn. I want to end this with this, right? What does Ignatius learn? And then when you kind of like, we all ask, how do I know this is the dream of God for me? How do I know it's God speaking to me? How do I know this and this? And what does Ignatius do? We love to go to see our spiritual direction, right? And it's that we love to see our psychologist, right? We love to go see our pastor, right? All those are good. But ultimately, what did Ignatius do? Yeah. What did he pray? This is brilliant. Before La Storta, he come to pray with Mary. Listen to his prayer. What? Please place me with your son. I mean, you can't go wrong with that. Please place me with your son. That's what he prayed. He go directly to the source. Okay, a lot of people said, God, is this the will of God? And you ask, you know, Father Hung or any Jesuit, don't ask them. Go directly to God. Ask God, you know, God, is this really for me? And talk to God. Or Jesus, this is you? I mean, this Ignatius tradition thing, go directly to the source. And yes, there's a role spiritual director and kind of like, you know, to listen and things like that. But go directly to the source. That's Ignatius did. And guess what? So he just go around, things like that, and 3 of them go La Storta, right? So they come and pray. And then all of a sudden, you know, he had this experience, God the Father, God the Son carrying the cross. I want you to take this man into our service. And the next thing is what? I will be favorable to you in Rome. If you're asking for confirmation, you have that, what happened? You're probably say, holy, you know, crap. I mean, it's that, right? I mean, you ask for confirmation, that's what happened, you know? So be careful what you're praying for, seriously. Yeah, I can tell you one of the time in my own, I mean, I can entertain you with my story. I was at theology, and I was very much in my own crisis. I was falling in love. I was thinking about leaving the society and things like that. And I ran into the rector, the late Father Charles Moutenot, wise man. I told him, you know, I love this woman, and I think the society, I don't know, I mean, I'm going to be part of this and things like that. So after hearing me like that, he said, Hung, from what you're telling me, then I think you should leave. I should leave too. I said, whoa, that's helpful, you know? But then he said, but I'm not the one who called you. Jesus called you. Why don't you go ask Jesus? And I say, like, crap, man. But that's what it means, you know, that's what it means. Go to there, and then that's the spiritual direction, again, the one who pointed us to the right source. And Ignatius La Storta, that's the grace of confirmation. But the grace confirmation doesn't come freely, right? He asked for that grace. So for us to learn that God, that image of God, right, is constantly working at us. And Ignatian spirituality is what? God is right there speaking, and for us to pay attention, and this dream is right here. Okay? So I think that's when it's La Storta. And then when he got to Rome, think about a man who dreams all the world acting, and he up in Rome, living in the administrative role and in the desk for the rest of his life. For those who do administration, you know how frustrating that is. But that's what he ended up doing, and he found his anchor. All right, I'll end with this. Mike gave me this image I remember forever as a novice director, and gave to me. He said, Hung, pay attention to the kite. The kite, you know, your flying kite, is flying. And the only thing the kite can fly, number one, is the wind, the spirit, the grace. But then the only thing that make the kite can fly is that little tiny thread. From afar, you're not able to see it, it's invisible, but that thread is everything. What is your thread? What is your anchor? What is your foundation? And that is your version. Conversion, right? To go and then to find everything, to kind of see that thread. Upon that, we're able to fly. Upon that, we're able to enjoy, to have all these perspectives. What version? Whose version that am I hanging on to? And what's the force that continued to attract me, to draw me, that I am able to fly?